Hi everyone, I'm Vivian, and today I'm going to be talking about a very serious and urgent policy issue, mental health, the mental health crisis veterans are facing, along with the negative impacts that are being caused due to the, in my opinion, mismanagement of the VA. So kind of just a brief explanation. So according to the US Census, um, there are about 15.8 million veterans, and that was from 2024. So it's probably gone up since then. But that's about 6.1% of America's population. So obviously, I mean, 15.8 million people is a lot of people, but in the whole gist of things, grand gist of things, it's a pretty small group, which is why this is such a serious problem. So 60% of veterans are actually more likely to commit suicide than the average civilian. In addition to that, they're almost twice as likely develop a mental health issues, such as PTSD, depression, anxiety, etc. And they're also 1.3 times more likely to develop alcoholism, and 1.14 times more likely to develop a drug addiction. And then, as you can see here, this is actually just different stats that I found. So if you look at the top left, that is the percentage that is being given to fund just different mental health care within the VA. So pretty small amount. I mean, it's not even half of a half. It's not even 0.5. It's I mean, tiny percent. And then, yeah, just different stats about mental health issues with veterans on those other stats as well. And so, what is causing this problem? I think that's, obviously a huge question here. Overall, the VA is just completely messed up. They're super backed up, and I mean, veterans are facing long wait times due to inadequate staffing. And so again, this is just kind of adding more backup on the VA's end. And they're also, again, you saw how little that funding was for mental health. I mean, there's just limited access to mental health services. And this stat is actually really crazy. I was shocked about this, but 30% of vets either just don't ever receive any care. And an example of this, I guess, would be if people are coming to the VA and saying, hey, I'm feeling this way, I'm having suicidal ideations, I'm developing really bad or unhealthy coping mechanisms, I need help, and nothing's done. And I've actually heard this from a firsthand perspective from plenty of veterans. And I mean, they also just kind of give up. The process is so complicated, and it's very stressful and just frustrating, and people just give up because they either hear, well, I'm not even going to receive any help anyways, and the paperwork and everything, it's crazy. So why isn't this issue being solved? Obviously, inadequate staffing and funding are a huge kind of particle in this issue, but also the VA just isn't prioritizing input from veterans, and from a legislative perspective as well, policies, or I guess bills, are getting stuck in between committees, or there's just a huge delay in the kind of decision making process or voting process. And so, how to fix this issue. Number one, I mean, speaking to the people that you're supposed to be taking care of, whether that just be from different feedback polls or direct communication. I think this would be so beneficial, because you will actually the VA will see what they need to fix on, what they're doing good on. And then in addition to that too, that's just going to build more of a trust, and a relationship between veterans and the VA. I think a lot of times veterans kind of feel overlooked, or that they don't matter, and it's a betrayal in a sense, in their eyes. And so I think really prioritizing that relationship and trust will be extremely beneficial. And then on top of that, I think telehealth and community organizations, so like if non-VA clinics are able to serve veterans more efficiently, I think this would be super impactful, for so many reasons. Number one, just being veterans in rural areas, or vets who don't have access to transportation, kind of prefer the privacy of their own home, or, actually being with people in their community. Veterans who are facing homelessness. I mean, the list goes on. And I think also this would be very beneficial as well from just a cost efficient standpoint. And I think a bill that I really like, in my opinion, and I think we could definitely, kind of inspire future bills on, is the Commander John Scott Hannon Act. And this has already been passed in 2020, so it's been 5 years at this point, but it actually gives more funding to community organizations, non-VA clinics, and research into veterans' mental health. And unfortunately, I mean, the bill really hasn't been as impactful as it was meant to, just because, again, with how backed up everything is. So yeah, thank y'all so much. I really hope you enjoyed this presentation and learned a lot. I think this is such a nonpartisan policy issue that more should be done, and I'm shocked it hasn't. And yeah, thank you so much.